Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Sports Shorts Daily. Ronnie Rants alongside Tommy Chrysan, TGIF to you. Hope everybody has had a good week and got one more day to the weekend for the most of the folks that are out there. Today on Sports Shorts, Tommy joins us from Tremonti's Meat and Seafood. Tremonti's, of course, the official hamburgers and sausage and hot dogs of the Baton Rouge Rougarou. You can get a great Tremonti's burger on Saturday night for only half price. Cheeseburgers only half price. That's Cheeseburger in Paradise. That's tomorrow night. But tonight is fireworks over the Rougarou land. I am in an undisclosed location presented by the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame and, of course, our presenting sponsor and title sponsor always, L'Auberge Casino. L'Auberge Edge Lounge tonight and tomorrow night, the place to be for those 21 and over. Go have a little fun, a little dancing, a little music. The music cranks up around 9, 10 o'clock on Fridays and Saturdays. Is at the Edge Lounge right on the casino floor at L'Auberge Baton Rouge. And don't forget to stop by 18th Steak. Today on Sports Shorts Daily, we're going to talk about the media days that has been this week, the SEC media days in Dallas, Texas. Today, maybe even while we're on the air, we'll kind of monitor. They're going to have the announcement of the voting for where the teams are ranked 1 through 16 in the SEC. Remember, no East and West. It's 1 through 16. And Nick Saban has been a star of and a big part of the conversation this week at SEC Media Days in Dallas. We know a couple of things. Alabama announced, Tommy, that Nick Saban will be the field that, it'll be in the stadium. I guess so. Nick Saban Field at Bryant-Denny Stadium. So this field's going to be named after him. And also Nick has put out his prediction. Remember, he's a talking head now on TV. Nick said that he's got Texas taking on Georgia in the SEC championship game in Atlanta. We'll find out if everyone else agrees with him. But, I mean, if the GOAT speaks, everyone listens.
Well, he's been a hit, even though he's no longer the coach with all of his media stuff. He's been prepared. I didn't see a lot of it, but the bits I saw, it looked like he was prepared. And he forgot his credential. You saw that story. They wouldn't let him in the first day because he didn't have the little credential thing. I mean, come on. Who's working the gate? You're not that important. Let the guy in. But anyway, so that was kind of he kind of stole the thunder of the whole media days. You had 16 coaches talk, Greg Sankey talk, left the door open for going to more than 16 teams one day. Not soon, but one day. He didn't say no. And, and then also he talked about the Power Four conferences perhaps splitting off. And that's a big thing that may happen in a couple of years. But, you had 16 coaches, you knew Oklahoma, new Texas stuff, and Vanderbilt at the bottom, as they're always going to be. So some things didn't change, but having Saban in the media was different. I reached out to Scott Ravelay last night, and he didn't know what time the media stuff was coming out today, but he did know it was coming out today. So I'll kind of look for it before we go off the air. If not, we'll certainly talk about it a whole bunch tomorrow morning on Sports Shorts Radio, which will be on from 10 to 12, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. So might be then when we talk about our thoughts. You and I got them 4th or 5th. We'll see what happens.
It'd be interesting if Texas in its first year does make the SEC championship game. That would be quite the intro to the league. I know Texas is a lot more confident about going into the league than probably Oklahoma, although Oklahoma is saying all the right things. They're saying that, hey, we're excited, we're looking forward to it, we're ready to go, et cetera, et cetera. Most not afraid is the words they use, but most people are expecting this to not be the Oklahoma of old, that they're going to have some growing pains.
Yeah, I agree with that completely. I don't think Texas realizes what they're getting into. And Saban did kind of allude to that. Texas said they thought they were going to run the SEC. He said they're not going to run the SEC. Are they going to be good? Yes. He picked them to go to Atlanta. So, but I think they're in for a rude awakening. Then it also came out, Ronnie, that they're not going to, that horns down is not going to be penalized, okay, unless it's in a taunting effort. Like you tackle the guy and you jump over it.
Right.
Because I've said for years, if horns down is a penalty, then horns up should be a penalty. But, and I've got actually a lot of reaction on social media for that comment, not just from people I know, but like names I don't recognize that are agreeing with that. But I don't think Texas and Oklahoma are going to take over. Now, look, Oklahoma's softball team's got 4 straight College World Series titles. Texas baseball. I mean, they got Schlossnagel's there now. All the sports programs at Oklahoma and Oklahoma gymnastics is great. Oklahoma and Texas are going to bring a lot to the table. But strictly football, which is what everybody's focusing on now. We just had the media days in Dallas, and I just don't think they're going to take. I think they're going to do not as good as they think they are the first year.
Well, the thing that is probably going to be an adjustment is, in the SEC, you're playing a good team every week when you don't play Vanderbilt, right? I mean, you're literally every week playing a team who can beat you. There's no weekends off. There's no, hey, we don't have to play our best and we can win. I mean, and that's the grind. That's the grind. That's the grind. That's the NFL grind, right? That players have to get used to when they play 17 weeks of NFL football. Anybody you play can beat you in the NFL. Well, it's sort of like that minus Vandy in the SEC. And so, can Texas and Oklahoma get used to that? We know Texas is supposed to be good. We know they've got a returning veteran quarterback, all this stuff. Can they do it week in and week out? Can they survive the gauntlet? And the emotion, and can they get up and get fired up for all those games? And that's the part that is probably a little bit shocking, a little bit surprising. And by the way, on the horns down thing, Tommy, I think that when the Big 12 made a big deal about it, passed the rule or whatever about the banning the horns down, that made it even more something everybody wanted to do. I think before horns down, it happened some, but now it's like, oh, you're going to tell me I can't do it? Well, now we're all going to do it. And I think that's that was the worst thing that could have happened for Texas was when they banned it a few years ago.
It's like the old sign on the park bench, wet paint, don't touch, and everybody walks up and touches it, right? Hey, Chris has got a comment. Is the global internet outage going to affect the Rougarou game? There's a global internet problem. Like all the airlines are shut down, and many banks are affected. My bank wasn't. I checked my stuff earlier. But, so Chris is trying to be funny. I get it, Chris.
Well, the good news is that the Rougarou are global internet proof. As long as it's not raining tonight during the game, we will be playing. We'll also have Jerry Lane Chevrolet fireworks during the 7th inning stretch. We'll have a 5-minute professional fireworks show extravaganza. You don't want to miss it. Thank you to Jerry Lane Chevrolet. So last night, the Rougarou did not play. We got rained out, and here's what happened. Our team gets back. This is so terrible, Tommy. Our team gets back on the bus at 5 o'clock in the morning from Texas yesterday morning. Being very proactive, our head coach and staff decide they're going to put the tarp on the field, which is great because they saw, hey, look, it's a pretty good chance it's going to rain today, midday, afternoon. It's going to rain, storms coming through. So let's go ahead and put the tarp on the field. So they did. So, I mean, those guys didn't get to bed till 6:30 in the morning. By the time they got home and got to bed, been on the road, all that. One problem, Tommy, didn't necessarily put all the sandbags and all the spikes out that need to happen when a giant storm that with wind gusts comes through. And so basically the storm destroyed about 3/4 of the tarp and folded it up into a taco over behind the first base bag. And so, bam, no tarp, lots of rain for 2 hours plus. And the infield was just pure mud. By 7 o'clock at night last night, gorgeous. Wasn't even hot. It was amazing in Baton Rouge.
The sun was out.
We could have played.
I know.
And our haste to get home at 6 o'clock in the morning, we didn't quite do the due diligence on the old sandbags and spikes. And it'll cost old Ron Rance a bunch and the fans a bunch too. So, you live and learn when you're trying to hurry up and get things done without doing it the right way. So that's a expensive lesson that our organization and team won. And we had to, and of course, Tommy, they just got finished. We fixed up the field a little bit as far as left the tarp out last night. I was monitoring the weather every hour on the hour, set my alarm every hour on the hour. We'd go on the Weather Channel app and check the radar. We were, because we were anticipating maybe 3 to 6 a.m. we were going to get some rain. We didn't, but they did just tarp the field maybe probably 45 minutes, about 40 minutes ago, 30, 40 minutes ago. Our team and coaches tarp the field. So because there's some weather that's coming through here this morning, they're anticipating, and we want to make sure the field's tarp. So we're going to do everything in our power to play tonight, tomorrow night, and Sunday night in Rougarou-Land. And global internet be damned. We'll be playing TCL baseball 7 o'clock each of those nights.
Yeah, again, I look forward to the fireworks show tonight, the Tremonti's Cheeseburgers tomorrow night, and Sunday night free ticket, Southern Regional Medical Center. Got Todd Walker, Warren Morris will be in the house tomorrow night. That's pretty cool. Todd was out there last year. I remember visiting with him. I hadn't seen Warren in a while, but it'd be good to see those guys at the ballpark. Need everybody to come on out. Gates open at 6 o'clock. Get out there. Plenty of food to eat. You can eat dinner at the ballpark. Beers available. You name it. Come on out.
As far as what everything else that's happening in the world of sports, the British Open is going on over at the Royal Troon, and one guy who will not be playing on Saturday and Sunday is Tiger Woods. That's not a surprise. It's not a shock. But the fact that he shot so bad might be a little bit of a surprise.
Plus 14 through 2 rounds. He won't even come close to making the cut. Cut will be about 4 or 5 over. Shane Lowry leads at 7 under. But Tiger Woods, Ronnie, it was tough to watch. I saw some of it, and you just – it's kind of like watching Les Miles football at the end of his tenure. You just cringe. When before the ball was snapped, you cringe when that last year and a half of Les Miles. But when Tiger's lining up his shot, you're just like, okay, is it going to go left? Is it going to go right? Is it going to be short? Which he hit many shots short. And the wind's tough over there. I get that. But it's not the Tiger Woods that dominated this game. It was the number 1 golfer in the world for so many years. But, Ronnie, I was thinking about it on the way to Tremonti's here this morning. All the great golfers, they reach a point when they can't play no more. Jack Nicklaus said, when I can't compete no more, I'm going to stop playing. David Duval was the number 1 golfer in the world. They couldn't break 80 for a while. Now, he could probably go to Greystone this afternoon and break 80, but you know what I'm saying? I mean, Nick Price, Nick Faldo, Greg Norman, and we go down the long list of great golfers, elite of the elite, and they just can't play no more. That's the point Tiger's at. And I know we've tried to hang our hat like, you can't say no with Tiger, never say never. He might come through, a couple of years ago when he shook the world up and won the Masters, but I just don't see it happening again. And it's in part physically. He looks all right. He just doesn't have the game anymore because he doesn't work at it. He doesn't play as much as he used to. And Ron, you and I know if we play golf, several times a month, next time we go out, we're not going to hit as many bad shots. We don't play for a long time, and whatever talent level we have diminishes. And we don't hit that nice shot or make that nice putt. So that's just what it is. It's tough to watch in many ways, but he won't be around on the weekend. It's going to be a lot of fun. A lot of weather is going to be around for the whole weekend, cold, wind, rain. So I'll be up early tomorrow morning and Sunday morning to watch the British Open.
The Lowry, you said -7. Sam Burns, by the way, makes the cut. He's only 4 back, -3. So Louisiana golfer to watch there. Sam Burns always on my watch list. And Tommy's Patrick Cantlay, 6 back going into
6
today?
Back, yeah. We'll see.
We'll see. Patrick.
I think Lowry will back up a little bit. I mean, he's at 7 under. 7 under will win the tournament Sunday late morning or midday for us. I'm thinking more like 4 or 5 under is going to win the tournament. So Cantlay's not out of it. My plus 5,500. I made that bet. Sportsbook at LaBerge. You can make a bet on all that stuff. And so we'll see. It's going to be fun. It's going to be interesting. The course looks tough, but I think it's the wind that's really getting them. It's changing directions all day long. They play a couple of holes and they're in the wind, and then your next one, it switches. It's not that because the hole switched, it's because the weather conditions.
I want to go back to this for a quick sec. We were talking SEC Media Days. Forgot to mention this. First time in, 100 years or something that LSU hasn't played Mississippi State and Auburn. They're not going to play either one of those two teams. And speaking of Mississippi State, I know Jeff Levy, the head coach over at Mississippi State, he looked like he literally, like somebody woke him up, like his alarm clock didn't go off, and they woke him up and Coach, you got to be on stage in 5 minutes. Oh, crap. I overslept. And he just threw on a jacket, no tie, unshaven. You know, I mean, it's one thing if you go beard, but he doesn't go beard. He just looked unshaven. He didn't even look like he took a shower. Like, he looked like hell. You know, most coaches are all dappered up and, get to look in their wearing their Sunday best and all that. Levy looked uninterested. Like, man, I got to go to this press conference. What do you mean? Like, you know who he looked like, Tommy? He looked like the Mississippi State head coach. That's what he looked like.
Oh, that's tough. You're being tough on the guy, But anyway, that whole Mississippi State thing when Mike Leach unexpectedly died, he was Mike Leach, and that program, they're going to struggle for a while, I believe, for lots of reasons, especially if you throw Oklahoma Tech. I think I don't have the schedule in front of me. I think Texas plays in Starkville this year. So it'll be the cowbell horns down game, I guess. But anyway, so we'll have to wait and see on all of that. But hey, I'm looking forward to the polls coming out. Certainly, like I said, we'll talk about it on radio tomorrow morning. I want people to join us for that.
Also, bad news going on right now in New Orleans in the sports world. The New Orleans Saints, New Orleans Pelicans. Not a great week for Gail Benson and her staff.
Well, the Pelicans are 0-4 in summer league, and I get it. The summer league's the summer league. Okay?
Yeah,
I get it. But you're 0-4. The Saints, Ryan Ramczyk, right tackle, guy that's been there a while, out for the year. Juwan Johnson, tight end, who's been effective. Chase Young, the big defensive end, they signed the kid out of Ohio State. Those two guys have to miss the first 4 games because of the pup list, physically unable to perform. It's not looking good for the Saints. As we in the month of July, we see all these polls and hot seat lists. They ranked the 32 NFL coaches at CBSSports.com. Dennis Allen's ranked 32nd. Okay, somebody's got to be ranked 32nd, but it's Dennis Allen of the New Orleans Saints. I think betting the under on the Saints might be the move.
7.5 is the over/under. I know we all liked. Oh, man, they can get to 8, right? They can get 8 or 9 wins. Come on.
No, I don't know.
When you got the worst coach in the league, and you got no offensive line, you got no offensive line and the worst head coach. That's probably an under formula. So don't let your.
And here's the other one I read. In the last 3 years, Kamara averaged less than 4 yards a carry. Look at that. Ain't gonna cut. Okay. And he might be a holdout. Then you got Derek Carr, who 1 out of 5 passes, he looks like an NFL quarterback. He'll drop a dime and he looks great. But the other 4 are like really? And you got Chris Olave, who's one of the best receivers in the league. But I just don't see the pieces coming together for the old Saints this year, Ryan.
So if you don't want to bet under because you're a Saints fan, just pick something else to bet on. Don't just let it go. Because you're right, Tommy. On paper, 7.5. They can get to 8. The division isn't that strong. Their schedule paper's supposed to be weak. Like they should be able to get to 8 or 9 wins. But then when you look at the schedule and you look at the division, you think that. But then when you look at the team and go, who's going to play offensive line? Who's the backups at offensive line? Then you start realizing, you know what? We probably are going to be under. So I think for me, not bet it.
And you look at the NFC South, Falcons are expected to be better with Kirk Cousins. Okay. Mayfield had a great year in Tampa last year. The Bucs are thinking they were a playoff team. They're thinking good things. Carolina's going to be garbage along with the Saints. So if they can figure out a way to get better than the Buccaneers and the Falcons, then maybe, but I can't see it, Ronnie. As we sit here today, I can't see it.
I think Kirk Cousins is going to make a huge impact in Atlanta.
I agree.
They're going to be the most improved team in that league. And then, Baker Mayfield can't play better than what he played last year. And Carolina can't be worse than what they were last year. So they're going to be better by default with a third-year starting quarterback. So look, just don't bet Saints, pull for them, bet some other leagues, other teams, other things. That way you don't have to die on Sundays. All right, Tommy, we'll see you in Rougarou Land tonight, 7 o'clock first pitch, tonight, tomorrow night, and Sunday night. Fireworks during the 7th inning stretch tonight, Jerry Lane Enterprise Fireworks. We'll hope to see everybody there. Tarp is on the field. We will be playing tonight, folks. For Tommy, I'm Ronnie. Make sure you tune in tomorrow morning, 10 to noon, for more Sports Shorts Radio and 104.5 ESPN. Until then, TK, tell us about Tremonti's.
Yeah, Tremonti's got the special today like they've been doing on Fridays. Half a dozen ball crabs, a pound of boiled shrimp, $19.99. Here's the trick. You got to call to reserve them because they're going to run out. They've been selling out every Friday. Call the number on your screen, Tremonti's.com. Stop by here on Jefferson Highway. Reserve your half a dozen boiled crabs and 1 pound of headless boiled shrimp, 16 to 20 count. You can't beat it. Tremonti's also going to be coming up with some huge tailgating and home gating packages for the football season. We'll be telling you about that in a couple of weeks. So appreciate that. Hey, as we always say, like and share this show. That helps everybody involved. On behalf of Ronnie Rance, I'm Tommy Christ. Have a great day, everyone.